Hello, welcome to the last video of this segment. This one is on self-assessment. So in your course, do you have regular opportunities throughout for students to self-assess that encourages students to seek timely additional help? And the second question is, what tools do you use for self-assessment? And for this one, Emery, we will start with you.
Okay, thank you. We always did some form of self-assessment, and that students kept journals or did reflective projects that were a way for them to look at their own work, look at what they were doing, to share it with me, and to get some kind of feedback. So that was always kind of an ongoing process. But one of the interesting things that we did at College of New Rochelle is that we had midterm evaluations that every instructor had to do on students, and students had to do a midterm evaluation of themselves, which got turned in. And that was incredibly helpful because oftentimes you would see that these would be in sync or in roughly the same area. And then here and there, you would see with a student that a student would have a very different assessment of their own work in contrast to what you had. And it would be helpful because it would give us as instructors the opportunity to then have conversation with that student, straighten that out early enough so that the student could get to the end of the semester successfully and really do well in the course, as opposed to have that misunderstanding go the whole way through.
Awesome. Angie, what about you?
I like to have a piece of self-assessment baked into every assignment. And obviously that comes in the form of the rubric and asking the students to review that before submission. But I also, especially on major projects, like to build in a kind of checklist or documentation that accompanies the project, where they talk a little bit about the process, but also identify where they've met the objectives of that project within their project. So it kind of helps them assess if they've met all the objectives, but also lets me see where they think they've met those objectives. A couple other things I do on their midterm exams, I always include a couple of questions at the end about how they prepared for the exam and what was helpful and what they maybe wish they would have done differently. A little bit of kind of metacognition built in there as well. And then when we do work on those long-term, semester-long projects, I always like to have some kind of midterm show and tell in the discussion forum for the students, where they share what they have finished so far and talk a little bit about their process and what their goals are to continue. So just for me and to get a sense of where they are and maybe even get a little bit feedback from their classmates as well.
I think some of the things that we've done are similar to what Angie and Emery said. I think one of the biggest pieces is having the students review the rubric and kind of score their own work, so that way they can see, how they've done or where they need to, beef up their answers, which I love that because I think they're harder on themselves sometimes than we are. Another area that's been really helpful for us is having students journal. So especially in their internships, having them reflect and think about what have they done, what are their goals, what are their ambitions. So that way they're kind of charting those along the way and making sure they're making or meeting their goals and reaching for what they want to do by the end of the course, or what do they want to do in their career, considering for us their internship is at their senior level. So for some people they're like, I want to do this internship so I can secure this job. So they kind of go hand in hand. The next piece that's been really helpful is really thinking about just some of those reflection points. What do you want to see? Where do you want to go? How well did you do on this assignment? And what can you take from this assignment to do on the next assignment? I think for some students, again, they're hard on themselves when you say, did you study for this? Did you give yourself enough time to finish this assignment? And have them reflect on that. They're like, I didn't. I waited till the last possible moment. In one of the classes that I just redesigned, we had students do a movie trailer, and they were basically in their movie trailer they were assigned to give the next class some advice. And it was just funny listening to the students because they were so painfully honest. And they said over and over again, don't wait, because our week ended on Sunday, so they were like, don't wait till Sunday morning to start your assignments. Start your assignments at least, we review it on Monday when the course opens, which is what we tell them. They don't do it though, but for to have a student say it, it was nice to hear. Monday, read the course or what you're supposed to do for that week. Tuesday, plan out what you're supposed to be doing. Wednesday, do a little bit. And to hear students say that in multiple videos was amazing to hear. So it was like that self-reflection piece of, what could I have done different? And how can I make this better for someone else? So we ask all of our students to listen to what the other students have said, because it's not from us, it's from their peers. And then think about what you're going to do from the feedback that you're hearing. And I think it's helped because more students, we find that, and I love in Canvas, you can see when they're in and when they're not in. Right after they review those screencasts, they're in and working. So thank you for joining us for this segment. We will see you in the next one.